Welcome to the A Monday Moment with Dr. Mal podcast, where each week I, Dr. Mal, share life lessons and motivation to kickstart your Monday. Whether you're starting your day or winding down, join me or me and my future guest for a burst of positivity and a fresh perspective. Let's make Mondays meaningful together. Greetings and happy Monday, everyone. I'm your host, Dr. Mallory D. McCoy, and welcome to this week's episode of A Monday Moment with Dr. Mal. As always, may this broadcast bring you what you need in the present moment. May my light exude positivity and kindness, and may my love be extended to all who could use a little extra. Ashe. Let's seize the moment. Today's episode is a little different. This is actually the first Monday moment where I'm shining a light on something I don't personally live with, but I've witnessed up close from people that I care about, Black women specifically, caregivers, sisters, friends, and watch them navigate life with this condition. Today, I'm talking about lupus specifically, but I've watched other women in my life navigate other autoimmune disorders and other people. And let me tell you, the strength and resilience and invisible weight that they carry is something that we need to talk about. So we need to talk about it more. So today I'm not speaking from a personal experience that I've had, but from a deep compassion, growing awareness, and a commitment to amplify what lupus warriors want us to know. This moment is about listening, learning, and honoring the real story behind the statistic, especially when it comes to how lupus is impacting Black women at alarming rates. And even though I don't walk this path myself, I know that silence never helped anybody heal. So you know I love me a good definition, and I'm team hashtag facts over feelings. So let's get into it. Let's talk about lupus and why Black women need to be front and center in this conversation. Number one, lupus is an autoimmune disease. That means your body's immune system is attacking your own healthy tissues and organs. And that can show up in everything: joints, skin, kidneys, hearts, lungs, even the brain. And what's wild is that no two cases look the same. Number two, Black women are 3 times more likely to develop lupus than anybody else. So not only that, we often get diagnosed later, treated less aggressively, and experience more complications. The system is playing catch up, and we don't have time for any delay because many people are afflicted with lupus and autoimmune disorders. Number 3, lupus usually hits between the ages of 15 and 44. That's a wide spread of years, but those are usually the prime time years for raising families, building careers, and caring for everybody else. And sometimes we ignore the signs because we've been taught to push through pain. And lupus don't care how strong you are. It will sit you down. So number 4, symptoms can look like extreme fatigue, pain, swelling, hair loss, skin rashes, especially the butterfly rash across your cheeks, and sensitivity to light. Let's not forget, brain fog is real. You're not lazy. You're not forgetful. Your body is fighting itself, literally and figuratively. Number 5, the emotional toll matters. There's actually new research emerging that's finally saying what we already knew in our bones. The weight Black women carry emotionally, spiritually, and generationally shows up in our bodies. Stress, trauma, and suppression of emotions can trigger autoimmune flares because where's that feeling going? Where's that emotion going? We know when we bottle up things, it's going to implode or explode, one of the two. And most of the time, pick me, I functioned in this dysfunction for way too long. Most of the time, you make the excuse that you don't have time to feel your feelings, so you just put them inside. But some of us are more sensitive than others to the feelings that we feel. So when you do that, It can be as small as, oh, I experienced, some pain in my back or something like that. Or it can be as big as turned into autoimmune disorder or autoimmune flares. Child adversity, racism, gender based violence, and caregiver burnout are all being studied as contributing factors to lupus and other autoimmune diseases. We are literally sick from carrying what was never meant to be held alone. It's time that we normalize rest as resistance, saying no is a full sentence. No. Ooh, that feels so good. Going to the doctor when something feels off, and then therapy, energy work, journaling, praying, meditating, and being soft because softness is medicine too. All of these things, normalize them. And then lastly, lupus isn't just physical, it's personal. The road to healing includes advocacy, awareness, and telling the truth. Black women deserve more than just survival. We deserve care, ease, and support that sees all of who we are. All guest podcasts are titled What They Want You to Know, and my intention is to dive deep into the minds of experts, thought leaders, and fascinating individuals to uncover the one thing they truly want you to know about their area of expertise. I intend to unapologetically and unequivocally center the voices of people from powerful groups targeted by oppression. However, if there are other community members who can interject on the topic, they'll be invited to the cookout too. This week's guest is Nissa Vibe. Like, it's a vibe, but Nissa Vibe, a full-time entrepreneur and choreographer here in the KC metro area. She is the owner of NV Entertainment Dance Company. She has battled with lupus for the last 12 years and has been on dialysis for the last 2 years. And from this experience, she founded the NVFoundation, helping to bring awareness to lupus and kidney disease. We recently met each other at a networking event, and as soon as I seen her, I was like captured by her beauty. Her aura meets you before her physical body does. She's literally a vibe. And I can immediately see in her that her soul is here to make a large impact on humanity. And I was right. After speaking with her, you will see during the podcast, I started crying, and I was moved by something that she said that she didn't even plan to say. And so she literally is a vibe. Nissa is a vibe. So grab a notebook and get ready to hear some dimes and gems dropped in this episode. Here's what we talked about. Well, welcome to the podcast, Nissa Vibe. I am so glad to have you here. And before I let you introduce yourself, I just want to tell my listeners and my YouTube audience that your energy actually met me before you met me. When I actually turned toward your energy, I could see your aura field like really big outside of you. And I've been having some experiences that I can't explain to people who live every day in a societally monotone way. But I feel like I need to say that because your name that you've come up with, which is not your government name, but is so appropriate to you and to your vibe. So, Nissa Vibe, would you please do us the honor of telling us a little bit about you?
Yeah, sure. So, I'm Nissa Vibe. I am CEO of NV Entertainment Professional Dance Company. I specialize in hip hop, heels, and praise dance styles. I offer background dancer services, private lessons, group lessons, wedding choreography, bachelorette, bachelor choreography, kind of anything dance related that you need, we offer. I do also teach classes for the public, pop up classes here and there. So keep an eye out for those.
That's awesome. And thank you for sharing your entrepreneurial endeavors. But outside of being such an well rounded entrepreneur, I asked you on the podcast to speak about your lupus journey. And I did share with you that I wanted to speak with you about that. And really, although there are two people here having a conversation, you are really the expert, not only because it's your everyday, you live this every day, but also because my past guests that I've invited onto my podcast, I've actually had experience in what they're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
But I do not have experience with lupus or any other autoimmune disorder. And so I would like for you to talk a little bit about living with lupus. Your biography said that you've lived with lupus for 12 years now, correct?
Yes, yes. I was diagnosed in 2012. I didn't know what it was at the time, and I was in college as well, and we had an option to do a paper on a topic of choice. So I chose lupus as my topic and was able to research it and learn more about it. And when I found out more about it, I did not like what I saw, so I was in somewhat denial of me having this and just rebuking it like that's not what I got. And a year later, I ended up in the hospital with 5% kidney function. And I had to be put on immediate dialysis. And this is just me kind of summing through the story because it's been so much over the past decade. But I had to be put on immediate dialysis. I was in the hospital for 6 weeks. It was a very hard struggle, especially for my mom, because they didn't know if I was going to make it or not. And, we just had the prayer warriors on it for me. And, my doctors praying over my doctors, praying over me. And luckily, God led them to treat me the way they were supposed to treat me. And my kidneys actually jumped back to 90% function, which the kidney doctors say is impossible. My nephrologist kept saying she had no way to explain me to her colleagues
Well,
because
we know.
we know.
We
Yeah,
know.
right, right. But,
What cannot be explained with human science in the
yeah,
human mind
yeah.
can only be explained spiritually. But that sounds like a
It was,
whirlwind of a journey.
and it came out of nowhere. I was 21 at first, and next thing you know, I just was waking up with swollen joints and things like that, and I was just wondering. I'm like, yeah, I'd be a night of partying, and I'm just like, I know I partied hard last night, but I don't remember hitting or falling or bumping my hand or feet or anything. So why am I having swollen fingers? Things like that. And so when I went to get checked out, that's what they diagnosed me with. And then afterwards, it was a long journey of medicine and fighting my medicines because I'm very anti pharmaceutical. I don't care how people feel about it.
Period.
I do not like medication, and I like to take as minimal of it as possible. So it was a lot of going back and forth with doctors, arguing, trying to fight for the lifestyle I want, even though we're paying these people to treat us. And I feel like they should treat us in the way that we want to be treated, not in the way that they feel we need to be treated. It's like if I want these medicine, don't every time I make complain about a symptom, don't prescribe me with something new. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't prescribe me with something new. Or, matter of fact, research some of the more natural ways so you can actually treat me in a way that I'm going to accept because I'm not just going to pump pills down my throat. I'm just not. So,
Insurance can pay for that.
right, right. Yeah. So, it was a battle with that, but luckily now I'm with a team that I feel has my goal in mind and my best interest at heart, really. And I just think it's very important for Black women to advocate for ourselves because they will not advocate for us and they will overlook us. And if you feel like anybody on your medical team is giving you any type of bad energy or you're getting your spirit is bothered by anybody, baby, fire, 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 fire. Go get you a new doctor. I'm a firm believer in that.
Hmm.
Because this is your life. They don't have to go home and deal with what you have to deal with. They do not have to think about anything you have going on when you leave outside of their office. So,
And they're not always the expert. I just about this a little bit in my autism series that I did in April. And really, the problem with the medical system is that there is a one size fits all approach that they take. But what happens is that they don't account for levels in your body. So if you get medicine, this one medicine, it may not create symptoms in someone else, but it created symptoms in you. But then instead of saying like, oh, it's the medicine that causes the symptom, then they're like, okay, well, let's prescribe another medicine to treat the symptom. And then it
And then it's just a domino effect, and you just keep getting more and more pills, which is why I don't believe in preventative medicine personally. Me, I don't believe in taking prevent. They always try to get me to be like, oh, this is to prevent. I don't got that going on right now, so I'm not taking it. You know what I mean? Like I take as needed, treat as needed. I'm on an as needed basis because I'm not doing any of the preventative. Like they tend to try to pump me with so many things that's supposed to be that I ain't never had and still ain't had to this day. So it was like if I had started taking the medicine, who knows what other side effects would have popped up. Again, I'm not a doctor and I don't claim to be. So I don't expect people to be like, oh, let me listen to her. No, I'm just saying what worked for me
Mhm.
and what worked for me, how my journey has been with it. And so as far as like every day with lupus, I would say it's good and bad days. It is a lot of good and bad days. I have a lot more good ones than I have bad. And then here recently, the last 2 years, I've been on dialysis, which is a new journey for me. It has been a whirlwind
Mm.
of emotions. I'm trying not to get emotional now talking about it because it's just like, I just can't believe I've been doing this 2 years. Um, And it has not been easy. It has not been easy. I've learned to stop downplaying what I'll go through because I feel like the more I downplay it, the more I downplay the strength and the courage that it takes for me to get through it. So,
Mm.
I don't want to pretend like it's not heavy. It is. It's very heavy. But God is good. That's all I can say is God is good. He gets me through every time. I'm so happy to be here.
Yeah.
So happy to be here. And every night I choose life. And that's how I look at it. Every single night I choose life because if I ever decide to check out of this world, all I have to do is stop hooking up to my machine at night. And it's like, no matter whether I had a bad day, good day, rough day, every night I choose life. I choose to be here and I choose to live.
Ah, the chills that just went through my body. The chills.
Mm-hmm.
Sis, I cannot
You
imagine.
got me emotional. Let me get a tissue.
Well, I mean, but it is emotional. It's emotional, and so I'm here to say to you that it's an honor that you're being vulnerable in this space, and it's a privilege to be able to have you share your story in such a public way. But furthermore, I am encouraged and empowered by your empowerment to literally know that you have the power in your decisions to make the choice of living or dying every day. But you literally, that's not figuratively. A lot of us are blessed to be able to figuratively make those decisions and literally sometimes, but you are literally making the decision every day to live or die. And a lot of us are walking around here with privilege. They don't even know how blessed they are to not have to make that decision every day. So, what an incredible testimony. Well, I would like to know because you spoke a little bit about it. So, at the beginning of your journey, you were partying, doing all that stuff.
I was
What?
a normal 21-year-old.
Yeah. So the biggest shift physically, emotionally, mentally, what would you say has been your biggest shift?
Honestly, I feel like back when I was 21 and all this happened, it's like I was just put on a rocket and just shot off like into space. My life turned around immediately. Like, you know what I mean? So I feel like that was the shift. Like when they came in and told me everything and my kidneys were failing and we got to hurry up and treat you. And I just feel like ever since then, it's kind of just been on go. Like treatment here, doctor visit here, checkup here, follow up here. You know what I mean? Like it's just, I don't know when it ever stopped. And it's still kind of just going. I think I'm just now getting into space now in my adulthood, being that I'm about to be 33 this year, to where like I'm actually realizing I've never had time to sit and process how my life changed overnight. So I've been going through a lot of like healing and trying to get into therapy and things with that. And honestly, I just started sharing my journey, so I think that's why I'm also so emotional because I don't talk about this that often. I'm an upbeat, bubbly type of person, and I don't really like to get in these heavy emotional topics. But at the same time, I do understand that it's needed because you'd be surprised how many people are just dealing with illness, and they need to see a real life representation
Mhm.
of what it looks like to keep pushing through. So that's what caused me to want to be a little bit more transparent with my story because I feel like everybody sees this about the entertainer, the star, the dancer who's on stages everywhere performing and doing all this. But I'm like, nobody sees Shanissa, the one who's battling every day behind the scenes to fight, to change my diet, to, just do everything I need to do to try to make sure that I can live the lifestyle that I want to live. So,
Mm. Can I just in this moment also acknowledge your bravery? Because you're right. Walking through emotions is not something that Black women specifically, and I'm unapologetic about
mhm.
my podcast being for Black people, but I talk a lot about Black women because I experienced my life as a Black woman. So that's something
Yeah.
that we do have in common.
Hmm.
And one thing that I know is that we don't give ourselves permission to feel. And honestly, so
Or just feel,
I'm,
or when we do, we feel like we're being weak, or
oh yeah,
or
yeah.
we're being, too emotional or crybaby, and that's one thing that I've had to kind of settle with is like understanding that it's okay for me to be emotional. It's okay for me to be angry and upset because this is not a light load,
Mm-mm.
and I need to do whatever I need to do to get through it.
So the emerging research that has been around autoimmune disorders talks specifically about Black women holding on to emotions that then turns into autoimmune disorders. If you think about it on a spiritual level, think about how the woman is in the grandmother's womb. And whatever the grandmother experiences, that two generations removed is also experiencing because you're an egg and an egg, right? And so
And they
it,
think that's crazy because they feel like my great grandmother had lupus.
mm,
It was just not a thing back then or something they could diagnose. But
well, especially in Black women.
yeah, but on my maternal great grandmother,
Yeah.
my mom thinks her grandmother had lupus for sure because of all the symptoms she had.
Well, the maternal line, that's how really things travel. We in this patriarchy
Mhm.
switched it to the males and how the males came down, but really lineage comes through the woman.
Mhm.
And so, yeah, your grandmother, great grandmother may have had lupus even before lupus was a thing, but because Black women had so many medical atrocities against them, they
Mhm.
were going to be looking for to treat her for her lupus or the
Yeah.
emotions that she was carrying.
They-
There's some research coming out saying that Black women are most affected by autoimmune disorders.
Mhm.
But if we also are able to correlate that Black women carry the weight of the world on their shoulders,
Mhm.
everybody puts it on.
Mhm.
Well, because we allow it.
Yeah, this is
we're,
true.
we're so kind. We're so all these things, and we're always trying to put a face up. You
Mhm.
don't gotta put a face up, sis. You gotta feel your feelings, because they will take you over. I'm 8 years of seven and some change ahead of you, and I just learned how to feel my feelings. And when I'm telling you, it's like even today when I had the big feeling and it was a negative one, I had to say, where in my body am I feeling this? I felt tightness in my chest and I felt that my stomach was getting nauseous.
Mhm.
And I'm like, oh, I'm triggered. Like these are my heart chakra and my solar plexus chakra.
Yeah.
I had an attack on both of those things today because that's where my body tightened up.
Mhm.
And so and I'm actually just walking through this part with you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Real time. In real time.
but yeah, so both of those things. So now I have to go back and be like, Why did this trigger me?
Mhm.
What work do I need to do more in order to move through? Because I'm actually really confident. So why did someone's actions and words make me
Ooh,
feel
girl,
this?
I actually just went through that, like realizing, like having to get back to my confidence because I am a naturally confident person and just outgoing and bubbly, and I just feel like recently I had lost that, like, and I'm like, how did I allow any outside energy to make me lose my confidence or not remember who I am?
Yeah,
And as I've been getting back to her, I've been realizing that I'm really her. Like I'm really that girl
say
that
that
that people want to be
for the people at
inside and out, like inside and out, like. And a lot of times I feel like because my light shines so bright, I have to understand that it makes other people uncomfortable or it bothers their demons because it exposes them. My authenticity in myself exposes the insecurities in other people and they try to project that onto me or make me feel bad, and I'm like, no.
you're doing the work. I'm proud of you, sis. You're doing the work. For years, years I did that. I'm Leo Sagittarius. For years, I muted myself to make others feel comfortable. And then when I said no more, guess what happened? People were like,
Yeah. It's crazy how standing on your boundaries exposes people's real feelings for you so fast. So fast, just standing on boundaries. Because that was me too. It was to the point to where like I'm a lover. I'm a lover. I am a server. I will give people the shirt off my back. I will show up for everybody in any way that I possibly can. And it's just, I started to notice that it was not reciprocated. So I
mm-hmm,
got to the point to where I was like, you know what? I'm only gonna show up in this way for people who show up for me. I'm only gonna pour as much energy into this friendship, relationship, or whatever as you pour into me.
period.
When my level started matching theirs, people, people don't be happy no more. Look, people don't be
Yeah.
happy no more. When your energy start matching the same energy they giving, yeah.
Or it could be that they can't match your energy. Like what you said, when you start setting those boundaries and they're like, oh, I can't do that.
Mm.
Oh, I can't do
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
You're being mean. I've heard that. You're
yeah.
being mean.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
That
being
too.
mean. I'm setting my boundaries. I'm telling you, you cannot do this to me anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're like,
I wouldn't even say you can't do this. I would say it was for me. It was more so like I'm not hiding this anymore. I'm not biting my tongue anymore. I'm not digging my personality down anymore. I'm not like I'm being me. Like I'm an artist. I'm a creative. I'm a free spirit. I just feel like I have never been meant to follow a structure, be in a box, be conform to society norms. Like I've never been meant for that. And me trying to be that was really just me putting myself in a prison.
oof. Oh my gosh. Girl, me or you are just like this, but you
Yeah, I'm like, I felt like I was
did
putting
that
myself in a
earlier.
prison trying to be a person that I am not. And I would just say to anybody that may be dealing with that type of struggle to just be you, be yourself. That God made us all different in the ways that we are supposed to be for a reason. Don't ever feel like you got to be a person you ain't. I looked up at one point in my life and I did not even recognize who I was. I'm like,
Been there.
I'm not this girl. I'm
Yeah.
not this girl at all. So it's like I just had to
Yeah,
get back
your
to me.
body.
And I've also learned that because I'm a lover, well, first off, let me brag on myself because I'm a great lover. There ain't nobody like there's nobody who's experienced me that will tell you otherwise
I
that
love
I'm not a great lover. But the difference is I feel like I've never given that love to myself.
sis. You preaching
So
today.
I'm like I've never given that love to myself. So in the year of 2025, I said I know that I'll be a great wife, a great partner, whatever, because I know the type of love I give. It's selfless, it's unconditional, it's and it's overflowing. But at the same time, I don't know that love given to myself.
Mm.
You know what I mean? So I said in 2025, I'm dating me. I'm dating me. And as I've been dating me, I have been falling in love with me.
Aren't you so awesome? I'm dating me too.
Yes, I'm like, I have been falling in love with myself, just even understanding why I love the way I love, why, just even, or just why I am as kind as I am, why I naturally care for people. Like, I just been falling in love with the actual person that I am, you know, and understanding that it's only one me.
I have just loved this so much because this is
Mhm.
literally I'm right there with you.
Mhm.
Yesterday, I spontaneously showed up to a yoga class that was hosted at a person's house that I've never met before.
Mhm.
It was the most spiritual experience. Like
Love
literally,
that. My first yoga class I did was, I don't know if you remember Danielle Small. She was at the Black Company. I I did a yoga class with her, and the first class, which I feel like the next class will actually be the first class. The first class we did, we were just unpacking so much. We had to get the context. She specializes in trauma as well, so we were just talking for a long time, and it was a lot of emotions. It was a lot of tears. It was a lot of things. I just feel like she had such a great insight to some of the things that I was talking to her about, and a different perspective of why, certain things make me feel this way or feel triggered or things like that. So I feel like next time, like, the yoga is gonna be great, but this time I feel like she did yoga for my soul.
thank you for dropping her name because I probably need to talk to her
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, I'm gonna say it. I feel like she did the yoga in my soul first before we did the actual
Hmm.
physical class, because I
I
got
love.
out a lot of things that I needed to get out, and just I was able to get a different perspective on them other than my own. Because a lot of times I feel like we as Black women, we hold stuff in our head and come to conclusions in our head of why things are. And it's like, you talk to somebody else and they be like, no, honey, this is why, you be like, oh, okay, no, that makes a lot more sense than what I came up
What
with.
you came up
But
with.
we don't want to be talking about it. That's the thing. We don't like to talk about a lot of things. And that's the season that I'm in now. Is like, I feel like that's another reason why I'm falling in love with myself, is because of this transparency. Like, I am so over putting on a mask for people. Like, um,
What's your life path?
huh?
What's your life path? Because it sounds like it's just like mine. Life path number 3. Do you know your life path?
Mm-mm.
I'm gonna have to figure it out for you because I literally talk about wearing a mask and that I'm no longer wearing. It's
Yeah,
on the back of my head now.
I'm
It's not.
I'm 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 over, and not only that, do I feel so much freer, because it's like I don't have. I used to My health used to be a secret. It used to All the stuff that I deal with my health used to be a secret. I'm so over keeping that a secret now. It's like, no, y'all, this is what I deal with. This is what I'm battling. I do it, every day, and I'm still thriving with that. My business, just everything, my healing journey. I'm just over putting on a mask, and it's just like, the Nissa you get today is the full 100%. Like, I feel like people was always getting 80%, 80%, and it was another 20% I wasn't keeping. Now I'm just at 100 with keeping it 100. Okay.
Hey, I love that. I love
Yeah.
it.
Like, I just don't have nothing to hide. And I've always been like a transparent person, but it's just like I said, it was always areas that I kept to myself, which is nothing wrong. I don't want people to feel like you just got to be open. No, it's nothing wrong with keeping things to yourself and private. But me as an entertainer, I'm going to be in the public eye. It's gonna be people watching me, looking at me, and things like that. So it's like, to me, the more transparent I am, the less chance people got to expose me about
Mm.
anything. Or
Yeah.
people can come hold anything over my head in the entertainment industry or whatever. It's like, the more I'm open, the more freedom I really give myself, and power I really put in my own hands.
I just love this so much. You are feeling me.
Same.
I do want to know, how do you balance being a full-time entrepreneur and your health? Like, how do you do that? What's your strategy?
Let's see. Because I ain't gonna lie, I feel like I'm still figuring all of that out. But for the most part, I understand that health comes first now, and that actually wasn't something that I knew. To be quite
Mm,
honest, is that health comes first. Because so many times I would just feel like I'm young.
mm,
Things will work themselves out, and I
mm-hmm.
had to get out of that mindset, and really accepting that I have a critical illness. I am not like everybody else. When I go out, if I need to take a break and sit down, I need to take a break and sit down. I can't be embarrassed by these type of things, because ultimately, if I don't, I'll be passed out somewhere, and then I'll be an even bigger burden on everybody around, because now everybody's panicking and I don't interrupt. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, to me, it's just understanding that to do anything I want to do, I have to focus on my health.
Mm.
To do any,
Period.
like, because I can't do a show when I'm not feeling well, when my body's hurting, when I'm weak and fatigued, and I can't do anything if my health is not
Good.
taken care of. So it's like, to me, it was understanding that my health is the most important. Like, and I used to be like, no, dance is life, and that's what I want to do, and those are the most important. But it's like, how do you do any of that when health is not at the forefront? So it's like, I have to be healthy to be wealthy.
Oh, girl, you preaching. I
Mhm.
listened to a video not too long ago, but it lives rent free in my brain. He was talking about how when you're well, you have many problems, but when you're sick, you only have one. And that lives rent free in my brain because, yes, when we are well, we prioritize many different things.
Uh-huh.
We're sick, we can't prioritize any of those things because we have to prioritize ourselves. And so
And,
I'm
and,
so
and my
glad.
health has no happy medium. It doesn't. It's either completely, I'm in the hospital for a week, or I'm doing, pretty well, or it's just sometimes. I mean, it's got somewhat of a happy medium sometimes, but it's just like, to me, if it goes down, it goes down fast. So it's like, I don't even have the option to let it get there. Like, I gotta nip things in the bud as soon as I see a change in pattern, a change in, and unfortunately, I deal with pain frequently. So
Mm,
I can't run to the hospital every time I feel pain, or I would live there.
mm,
And that's just the reality of it. So it's like, I have to always assess: is this feeling emergent, or is this feeling like temporary? Maybe I need to lay down. Maybe I need to relax. Maybe I need to turn my brain off, because a lot of it is stress. So I
mm.
feel like that was another thing with my health. How do I balance? Uh, I balance by making sure that my work life is organized and not
There.
overwhelming, because that becomes stress, which
Mhm.
becomes, make sure my family is, I'm kind of the rock for them too. Make sure ain't nobody on their way off of the deep end in chaos in their lives, because that still turns and falls on me, because I'm the rock of my family and the kind of the person who gets everything together. So it's just a matter of, to me, making sure that everything I'm responsible for is handled in a way that is not overwhelming to me, so that I don't ever become overstressed, and which causes my health to overstress, which causes me to be less available to all of those areas, which creates another burden of more and more stress. You know what I mean? So it's like,
Mhm.
I feel like organization is how I balance. Prioritizing my health is how I balance. And now I am in the midst of making sure that I schedule self-care, schedule days to not do anything, no work, no favors, no pouring into nobody else, like, literally just for me, days just for me.
I love that. I
Mm-mm.
love that so much.
Mhm.
So I would like to switch gears for a second because this is powerful conversation. But
Mhm.
one thing I know is that you're the alchemist. I'm an alchemist too, but you're an alchemist because you took this situation, this impossible situation that you have to endure every day, and you turned it into something good. So let's talk about the NV Foundation. Tell
Yeah.
us a little bit about that.
So the NVFoundation is my new baby, and I'm just such a creative, y'all, that it's like, I have 3,000 ideas in my mind, and I have 3,000 things that I'm working on at simultaneously. But this one is my new baby. It's my newest project. I'm trying to get my 501(c)(3). So if anybody wants to help me with getting that together, I am always open to, just knowledge and wisdom on how to move forward with that. But that is where I'm going with it, to be a nonprofit, to help Black women specifically, but I don't want to say that in like my bios and just know that it probably won't be on the page because I don't because of all the DEI rollbacks and
I was gonna say,
all
yeah,
this other crap that's going on. But just know that that is what it's geared toward. It's Black women because I love us, and I feel like we are the ones who battle with lupus the most.
don't feel like know that
Yeah,
statistics show that.
yeah, we
Yeah.
battle with lupus the most, and then the
Mhm.
kidney disease is just a new avenue that I'm going down because it's like when I started dialysis, I didn't have not one reference or thing to look at or to see, like people doing it, and that's what made me even start documenting and TikToking my journey of my dialysis, how I hook it up every night, how I travel with it, just so when somebody else is facing this challenge, they can see, wow, look at her, a young girl, she's still living her life, she's still chasing her dreams, and she does this every night too. So, hopefully to be encouragement and to save somebody's life because I prefer much, much for people to do the home dialysis than to go in center
Mm,
and do it that way because that's so harsh on your body and it kills people faster. I don't care what statistics people say. It kills people faster, and and it's just like it's a lot harder. So this one allows more of a quality of life, better quality of life, and things like that. So the Envy Foundation is just to bring awareness and hopefully get to a point to where I can get funding to help people afford medications for this because that's a lot of things that people don't talk about. Having a critical illness is so expensive. It is
mm,
so expensive to be treated the correct way, not just the way that they want to give you, and you be sitting up there miserable, laying on the couch, poofed up like a balloon because of all the medication and all. No, if you really want to take control of your health and things like that, it gets so expensive, so
mm.
expensive. It's actually insane. It's somewhat to me scamish with the. It's very scamish with the government and just pure evil. I hate to say it. It's pure evil the way that they do people with critical illnesses. Like it's like we know you need this to live, but you got some money. You got some money. Like it's just evil,
Yeah.
to me
I mean,
to
yeah.
let people die just because they can't afford your services.
We're watching it in real time. Us on the outsides, then they're rolling back, programs to help people who use the
Oh,
program.
me. If I ever get on any platform to let them know, any major like streaming CNN, what something, I would love for them to say, "Hey, this is what Medicare looks like.
Mm,
This is what Social Security looks like. You cut all of these programs, you're literally cutting me. How will I afford my dialysis if y'all cut Medicare? You get what I'm saying? It's like, and that's the thing I tell people all the time. I don't have the luxury to not pay attention to politics.
mm, mm.
I don't have the luxury to not pay attention to what is going on in these courtrooms and these town halls and every. I don't have the luxury to not because my actual livelihood depends on it.
Right.
I'm gonna say I'm not rich and I don't ever pretend to be the biggest baller ever. I cannot afford dialysis
Mm.
without government subsidies. I cannot. Like cannot. So
Oof. I know. I listen. Somebody's gonna be right there. Or not somebody. Many people. Many people rely on government programs like Medicare to pay for their life. Not livelihood. Their life.
live,
And
live.
like you just said, like it's my life every day. I am choosing to get hooked up to dialysis because I'm choosing life, but also somebody else, a program is choosing life for that I'm able to take
They're
a part
choosing to fund my life. They're choosing to
of. Yeah.
fund it. Yeah. So it's like, and then for you to not care about people, I hate to say it, that's the point. They don't care about people like me, and they already feel like it's too many people that use this government subsidy. So they're like, what do they care if a few of us die when they cut the programs? It's gonna just help their bottom dollar rise. You know what I'm saying? And it's like I said, it's evil. There's my dad always said, God rest his beautiful, beautiful soul. And he just made a year since he passed on the first.
I'm sorry.
But he always said this is not a physical war we are fighting, it's a spiritual one. And I
Mm.
truly believe that. This is not just about rich versus poor. This is about good versus evil.
People's souls. And the ability to be able to see that it's not either or. It's all of us. We are the collective one. So when you commit any type of anything towards somebody else, is actually going to come back to you. We know that. That's like the basic laws of life. So
Mhm.
yeah, we're seeing it in real time, and I am sorry that, that's even because we have to talk about that. That's a stress.
It is.
That is yet another stress.
It
Because
is. It is. And I'm not even gonna lie, I feel like that's what caused me to have my most recent issue where I was diagnosed with Bell's palsy, because I was so stressed. I even had to, I hate to say it, I had to tune out from the government and, just following the politics because I felt like it was beginning to stress me even more because I truly just didn't know what I was gonna do,
mm,
and that scares me. But at the same time, it was another part of me that had to pull back and lean into my faith. I have to lean into the fact that God always has me covered. He's never left me nor forsaken me all this time. So how dare I let what these evil people in charge make me doubt what He's done for me? You know what I mean, or what He does for me. So I had to take a step back and understand that it's okay. That to me, I had to just learn balance with that. It's okay to be knowledgeable, but when it becomes to be overwhelming or stressful, it may be time to fall back and take a break.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for sharing that, because that,
Mm-hmm.
oof, I felt that with you. Even though I don't experience that primarily, I
Mm-hmm.
felt that with you, and that feels heavy. So,
Mm-hmm.
let's change the energy for a second.
For sure.
But what advice would you give to someone who's newly diagnosed?
Research. That's to be my first thing. Research. As much as you can go in there knowing beforehand, go. Because when you don't put the knowledge in your hands, they say knowledge is power. That means you're putting that same knowledge and power in somebody else's hands. So know as much as you can, research as much as you can about what they're trying to diagnose you with. Research alternative medicine, like just other natural ways to get rid of the symptoms before you just start medication, because they will put you on medication and you will become dependent on it. So where it'd be like, dang, I can't get off of it. I can't try these natural remedies. Like, do natural first to see what you can mitigate, and remove yourself.
Which holistic modalities do you subscribe to and use that have been successful?
I believe in juicing. And I'm actually, let me show you this. I actually have one that is thawing out right now.
Okay.
It's a little bit frozen still. That's because I freeze them until I'm ready to drink them. So they are
Okay.
good. But this one I'm throwing out right now, it is papaya juice, and this is the parasite cleanser I was mentioning to you about
The
before.
papaya.
And it actually is made by a girl here in Kansas City named Sheena. She does juices. She just had her grand opening this weekend, so plug her.
Yeah.
But I've been consistently juicing with her just because they've really been working for me. And whenever I drink them, this one specifically kills your sugar cravings
Mhm.
immediately, which the sugar feeds parasites. If you feel like you always got a sweet tooth or you always need something sweet, baby, that is not you. That is the parasites in your body saying, feed me, feed me.
Seymour, feed me, Seymour.
Yes, yes. So I
Yeah.
am just on like I said, a healing journey, cleansing inside and out, and understanding how much food plays a part in what we go through, and just how our bodies react. And we are not
Say
supposed
that,
to be.
sis.
If food is just it's hormonal, all of that. Like you gotta pay attention to what you're putting in your body. My brother, he passed in 2021, but one thing about him is he used to always say, "I'm eating to live, not living to eat."
Me. That's what I say.
So I'm like, to me, that lives rent free in my head because it's like that is true. So many times we be like, "No, I want this because it tastes good. It tastes good," but I'm like, it's killing you.
Literally.
It's killing you, literally. Like,
Like you're
so,
literally dying.
yeah.
But people justify it. They're like, it's just this once. I'm not gonna die right now. But it's like, yeah, but and I used to be pick me. I used to be the one. Oh, this ain't gonna hurt me that much,
Mhm,
But
mhm.
it does. It has a large effect. And I am so thankful that you have turned to fruits and vegetables to heal you. Like I'm plant-based, been plant-based for 8 years, and
Mm-hmm.
I do juice. Can't wait till the summertime because baby, my watermelon juices are about to be popping,
Yes,
popping.
yes. I'm actually gonna get my own juicer here and invest in it soon. Uh,
Yes.
I'm hoping that who knows, maybe as I get the NVFoundation popping, somebody might even donate me a great juicer just for my health purposes because they do get a little expensive. But yeah, I do want a juicer, and I've been kind of falling in love with more of juicing and gardening. I really want to start my own garden here
You
soon. And
should.
it's just because I love flowers as well, and I used to work in lawn and garden in Walmart, so that
Okay.
that's where my love for flowers kind of started because I was not that kind of person. But then they put me in lawn and garden, and I got way more familiar with planting and different ways to grow and the different plant types and stuff like that. And had to get knowledgeable on them, and then I just kind of fell in love with them from there. And now that I know I can grow my own food, cause I'm already, you know me, I'm anti-medicine, anti FDA approved, all of that. I don't believe in what
Yes.
they be approving anyway. Like I'm like,
Period.
I'm ready to just start growing my own food. Cause at this point, you can't trust much.
Nothing. Nothing. You can't trust
You can't
labels.
even trust the lettuce.
No, girl. The
Like
lettuce,
like when you can't trust the healthy food, it's like
then you know. But the healthy foods being stacked up against the non-healthy foods, so that's it. But
no, I saw something where they were making synthetic lettuce. Like it's like fake lettuce. Yeah.
oh, well, I hope I haven't encountered any of that because wow. But you're right. Gardening is, well, just touching the earth, and you're an earth baby, so touching the earth is just so healing anyway. But it actually balances out my fire. So when I get my hands in dirt, I just feel
Yeah.
so calm. And my son, I told you he's an earth sign baby. When he's like a black obsidian crystal, when he touches me, I just go,
Mm-hmm.
I just calm
And
down.
I ain't gonna lie, I do feel like when I was in Phoenix, I was way more earthier than I am now. Like I don't know what it is about coming back to Kansas City, but I have become such a city and kind of prissy kind of girl. And don't get me wrong, that's part of me too, because I love to I try to tell women it's okay to be multi. There's so many different sides
Yeah.
of, you know what I mean? So I have a very pretty, like girly side, but I also have like a very gritty, like I like to get dirty in the earth, like type of side. My dad took me fishing as a young girl, and I'll never forget getting my hands dirty with like the worms and putting my worms on my thing and casting like I loved it. At first, I was grossed out until you showed me, but then the first two times I did, I was like falling in love with it. So
Mhm.
I'm like I am somewhat of an earth spirit too, and I just feel like that part of me is missing right now. I feel
Mm-hmm.
like my like you said, my earthy side and just getting. I think that's what even is causing me to lean towards gardening is because it's just like I'm missing being a one with nature,
Yeah.
and I've become such an inside city kind of city city girl to where.
Girl, come put your hands in the dirt with me. I love it. I don't
Hmm.
have a garden going right now because I'm in transition, but if you live in an apartment, I have the green stalks
Hmm.
are just on rollers, and it's a garden on a roller, and there's like little
Yeah,
pockets.
that's what I need is something like that where I can do it here at my place.
Yeah, you should. Okay, I have a few more
Go
questions.
ahead, go ahead. Hmm.
This question might require you to think a little bit, but maybe not because you are expressive in energy and I love it. What do you want your legacy to be? How are we going to remember Nissa Vibe?
I want my legacy to be the fact that everybody who's encountered me leaves a better person.
I love that.
Everybody who experiences me leaves a better person. And I want to leave a legacy of dance and art. I want my choreography to be pieces that people look back on from generations and be like, man, she killed that.
Mhm.
Whoever made this up killed that. Yeah.
Art lives forever. And so all,
Yeah.
all the move combinations that you create, they
Mhm.
do live forever. They live forever. That's why I love being an artist too. I'm a creative too. So this
Yeah.
I felt like a lot of times in this interview though I've been like, me too, me too. Your kindred spirit.
But you know, when I first met you, you said, "I need to know who you are." That's what you said. You was like, "I need to know who you are," and that just moves me because it was like ain't nobody ever approached me like that. You know what I mean? Like don't get me wrong, people like, "Oh, I've been waiting to meet you" and things like that. But you was just like, "I need to know who you are," and I was like, it just made me feel like, wow, my aura must or my energy must be radiating in this space right now. But it was though, because at the Black company, I'm not gonna lie, I felt so empowered.
I did a whole podcast about it.
Yes, yes. I'm like,
Yes.
I felt so. My energy probably was radiating in that
Yeah.
moment that we're
I
at.
got to the car and my body was shaking because it
Mhm.
didn't know what emotion to feel. I,
Yes.
I felt like I wanted to cry, which I did that. And then I felt like I just wanted to just like laugh because I was so joyous. Anytime Black women get together, I feel like we're like the Power Rangers because
Hmm.
it's like, our energies just transmute into this beautiful amazingness that is indescribable unless you feel it.
Yes.
And even the males in the room that were speaking
They
and
felt it.
about it, it was like,
They felt it, and I felt what they were talking about.
yeah,
So I knew exactly what they were speaking on because I'm like, in this space, I just felt motivated
hmm
and recharged. And I think I was coming to the Black Company, the Boss Up series, at a very vulnerable time in my life. I actually wasn't feeling the most confident in myself. That was me trying to get there, and I wasn't feeling my happiest. I was just kind of down with my health and things like that. And I decided after the first meeting I went, I felt so filled up that I made it my thing to make sure I went every week. And I didn't miss a week. And I started looking forward to it as the weeks went on because it was just like I got my cup filled there, and I needed that because I was running low. It was running close, near almost close to eat. And I went there and they started pouring each week, just pouring until by the end of the week I felt filled up and I felt like, yeah,
yes.
but it's time to get to it. Look, like it's time to get to
Yeah,
it.
yeah, no, I felt like that. I felt like that too. So I ask all my guests two of the same questions. One's a question, one's a prompt. The first question is, out of all the things you said, or even something that you may not have said yet, what's one thing you want us to know?
Although your battle or your weight might be heavy, it's not the end.
Hmm.
It's not the end. Like that would be the main thing I want people to know. Like it's no matter how heavy it is, it's not the end.
It's still worth fighting. It's still worth battling through.
Yes. And
Yeah.
you gotta get through it to get to it.
Have to get through it to get to it. I love, and that's that because I learned that
Mhm.
real life lesson. The energy Most High showed me. Like,
Mhm.
listen, you think you don't have to do anything, but you gonna have to feel something. You gonna have to do something.
And I just had a conversation with God the other day in my shower. I kid you not, where we had it, and
That's right. My
like,
conversation.
I was like, Lord, why do you keep sending me people that I have to heal from?
Mm,
Why do you keep sending me friendships and putting me in relationships and things like that I have to heal from? And that's where I got the quote that I said earlier about everybody who experienced me leaves a better person. That God literally told me it's not about you.
mm,
Everybody who has experienced you has left a better person.
I love that.
And I was like, a little bit of a reality check, like, because technically we are not here for us. We are here to be vessels of Him and do His work. So it's like, again, He had to check me, like, you doing a lot of complaining, but at the end of the day, you're still here. And everybody who has came and encountered you has left a better person because your spirit is so genuine, and your spirit is the spirit that I've given you. And although sometimes the boundaries, we gotta learn boundaries and things like that, and still protect our energy. It's like, because you're so kind and you're so sweet and you're so genuine, that rubs off on other people.
Hmm.
So everybody who's experienced you has somewhat, even though they weren't perfect or they may have not been the person, yeah, y'all had to part ways, they still left a better person because of things that you taught them and you showed them.
Well, and sis, let me just tell you, like I said, I got a few more years in the game than you.
Mm-hmm.
That because you've turned within,
Mm-hmm.
that energy is going to become even bigger because you were pouring from a half filled cup because you were saying, hey, I'm giving my energy to you, and this is the way that I love, and people have left me a better person. But the people that will leave you after the work that you're doing right now,
Mm-hmm.
your absence will be felt like an earthquake.
Yeah, yeah. No, I feel that. And I also just feel like I'll attract different people when I'm the most healed and most happiest version of myself. And don't get me wrong, I feel like that's happening now. I've just, even the people who have been entering my circles and things, and the energies that I attract now is because I am pouring into myself, and and I'm attracting. I feel like you give out the energy you attract. I low key was broken.
Mm.
I was broken and dealing with a lot of things, so I'm gonna attract that kind of energy in people, or people who can benefit off of the brokenness in me. And
Benefit of the brokenness in you.
yes, yes, I know that's a word, and I ain't gonna lie, I'm kind of that.
Let's
That was
pause
no,
for the
that was real time. No, that was a word to me and you, real time.
let's pause for that because that is me and you.
Yes,
You said that as your own experience, but baby, that caused a ricochet through my soul because they benefit off the brokenness of you. I cannot wait to tell my friend. Okay.
yes, I know. I do. I actually need to write that down because that's, like I said, that was something that came to me just now in real time. And when stuff like that happens, sometimes I don't even think that's me. Sometimes I think that's God speaking
No,
through.
it's not. No, it's
You know what
not.
I'm saying? Yeah, I feel like that's God speaking through me.
That is the highest source of information.
And yeah,
Cindy,
yeah.
you
So I'm like, I just feel like they was benefiting off the brokenness in me and the
look,
things that I allowed because of that brokenness. And now, when I feel like, now that I'm healing from the inside out, there's no room for that. There's no room for anybody to benefit off any brokenness in me because I'm putting those pieces back together. So there's no way for you to like kind of creep into a broken crevice. Like, it's all gonna be pieced together, and now you gotta meet me up here to even be able to get through. Like, you gotta meet me up here to even be able to get past, because there is no more low self-esteem, low standards, low. There's no low nothing over here. Everything is up high. Everything is up high. So, and I
I,
love that.
look, I hear you.
Yes,
You spoke directly to my heart, and that's why I'm tearing up right now because
yes,
I
yes,
literally today, I told you this today. I said
yeah,
me, and I let it, but it's because that person benefits off the brokenness in me.
yes.
And now that I've ascended to a space that I look in the mirror and I don't even recognize myself because of
Mm.
the low. And it's literally like, I keep saying this, but it does feel like this. It's like every time this energy is present, it's almost like God saying, but look over here. Look at all of this that's happening, all this awesome, all this amazingness. You can't even focus your energy over here.
When I tell you to know, but that's the thing, you gotta be careful, because when I tell you, it be when you thriving, baby, thriving, that the devil come with something he knows is familiar, or something or someone he knows is familiar, and can tug on those heartstrings to get you a little distracted, because the devil be like, she doing too good. She doing too good. Let me throw a fish rod. Let me try to reel her back. Like, nah, 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 nah. No,
She's
no,
doing
no.
too good.
You're doing too good. So that's why I'm like, just know the better you start doing, the more what should I say? The more strategic the devil gets. He's very strategic. Because there be people who I ain't seen in forever, and I just know when I was there, I was in a bad place. So I don't want to go back there, but it'd be when you thrive and you be like, well, I don't know, maybe people have changed and maybe, that's me just being the nice person I am. I'm always like, maybe I should give this another shot or maybe I should give this friendship another shot. And knowing they was envious the whole time and a low key hater, you know what I mean? So it's like, why would I allow you back in my life when I'm thriving to try to low key sabotage that? Sometimes you just gotta love people from a distance and understand. And my thing is with me, 2025, I already let it be known to everybody around me. 2025 is my selfish year.
Yeah.
This is my selfish year, and I'm unapologetic about it. I poured into enough people, and I've been there and showed up for enough people for decades. There's never been one year that I've dedicated to just myself, growing me, growing my brand, growing my business, growing. And a year goes by fast. So that's why I'm like, we're already in April. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, a
Time is
year.
increasingly moving faster.
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm like, yes, time goes by fast. So I'm like, what is a year to give to myself? Like, what is to me to not date to see what I can accomplish on my own, undistracted from love? Because, like I said, I'm a lover, so there's no in between for me. If I like you, baby, I'm in love. Like, what we doing? I need to see you. Like, you're my focus. I don't know how to balance
Balance.
that. Yeah, so I'm like, because that's just how I am. I'm constantly all day thinking of ways to surprise you, to put a smile on your face, to make it like that's. I'm a lover girl. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, I needed to pour that into me. I need to love. I wanted to love me the way that I love on other people. I want to see what that feels like. Hmm.
I'm sorry, I need to stop for a second because that really was like,
Yeah, yeah, I love that. I love that I was able to like minister to you in that moment.
yeah,
Hmm.
yeah.
Because
I need
this has been such a healing conversation for me as well. Some of the questions you asked are things that I need to know and that I didn't really have answers for, that I kind of gave you on the spot, but it's still going to be something I go home and, well, I am home, but I get out,
you're always
but I get off here and I think about.
yeah, thank you for that.
Yeah,
And thank
no, thank
yeah,
you for
and then
asking me.
I got one more for the prompt.
Okay.
Hey, look, I just needed a second because
Yeah, no, it's all good. I love that. I feel it. No, I feel it. I feel it through the phone. You have no idea. I I feel
yeah,
it.
I need it.
Hmm. Hmm.
Okay. Let me say I gotta sit
The
down.
fact that that wasn't planned, like that was literally just something off the dome that I said, and that I was speaking to myself, but it touched you in that way. Just is beautiful to me because that just lets me know that this healing journey I'm going through is not just for me; it's for many people who can relate. To.
Well, and what I do is not just for me.
Hmm.
Because that's why I said I wanted to see your astrology because
Hmm.
one one of my purposes that I learned about from my astrology is that I'm a healer and have been a healer in multiple lifetimes. And in this lifetime, I'm supposed to use my throat chakra to heal.
Hmm.
And so that's how this podcast was born because I literally have 26 episodes of me talking about the lessons that I've learned in this life. And then I started inviting people to be a part of the podcast to share what they know about what they do
Hmm.
and who they are.
Hmm.
And so that's really the baseline. And then I'm unapologetically centered on the Black experience
Yes.
because I live my life Black. I don't live my life anybody else's life. And I have been able to find everybody everything I want to talk about, I've been able to find Black people to talk about it. So
I feel like us as Black people have to stop feeling the need to make others comfortable.
that's
And we do that. We naturally do that. Like we'll be like, "Oh, I'll be." No, actually, this is all Black. It's meant to be all Black, and I
period.
want it to be all Black.
The second question is a prompt, actually. I used to think, but now I know. Fill in the blanks between I used to think this, but now I know this.
I used to think I was special, but now I know I'm extraordinary.
Come on. Yes, fire. I love it so much. When other people hear it, they'll be like, oh my gosh, she's conceited. No, I'm spitting the facts.
No,
Yes.
no. I mean, I always because I did. I always thought I was special, and like I was talented and things like that. But now, with everything that I've been through and everything I've overcome, I know I'm extraordinary.
Extraordinary. I would say a superstar, literally.
Thank you.
Superstar. So, to that note, please tell my audience where can they find you on Beyonce's internet? Where are we gonna look for you?
Beyonce's internet, we call it Jesus Devante Christ's internet, all of that. So you can find me on all platforms as Nissa Vibe. TikTok and Instagram are Nissa underscore Vibe. Facebook is Nissa Vibe. And yeah, follow my dance page at NVENTKC. I try to make it easy. I want people to be able to easily find me. That's N as in Nancy, ISSA.
Nissa, it's a vibe,
Yeah,
a Nissa
just like
vibe.
it's a vibe, and it's a vibe. And if you've
Yes,
been around
it,
me or ever got a chance to know me, you know it's a vibe.
it's a Nissa. It's a vibe. It's a vibe. Yes,
Yes.
absolutely. I can attest to the vibe. She
Yeah, so
well,
follow me, please follow me. I love that. And then tap in for events. Please show up. The biggest event that I would like to speak on before I leave is I'll be performing at the Kansas City People's Choice Awards this year. And yeah, so if you're going there, please get your tickets and look out for a great show from us. And then I will be hosting a Heels Extravaganza choreographer showcase on August 24th. This is an MV Entertainment production, and I've handpicked several choreographers to put on sets with me to give you all a great show. Tickets will go on sale for that close to June. So just be on the lookout. Save the date, August 24th.
okay, yes.
Yeah, perfect.
Well, yeah, I needed you.
I
It
need,
was
yes, no, I needed this. Thank you, my sister.
yeah. And thank you for
Yeah.
being on my podcast. Well, that's all for me this week. I'm forever honored that you tuned in and you continue to tune in every week. A special thanks to Nissa Vibe. And what I'm really thankful for is for her being open, brave, and vulnerable enough to share her expertise in a platform that's not even hers and about lupus. And go check her out on all social media platforms. She is a content creator. This is how she is documenting her life. And if you're interested in her home dialysis journey, stuff like that, she's documenting her life online. So check her out, all social media platforms. And yeah, thank you, Nissa Vibe. I appreciate you and I love you forever and ever. Next week, I am excited to have another out of town guest. So if you watched my episode on conscious parenting, this is my second out of town guest, Colorado Springs, Colorado. I will be interviewing Brittany McNeil. She is a small business owner. Well, not a small business owner, a big business owner in Colorado Springs, Colorado. And we will be talking about our experience as military wives. And so the episode is actually called What a Military Spouse Wants You to Know. But it's from the vantage point of a military wife because as women, that is how we have lived our lives. So it is an episode that I have been waiting to record because I've been waiting to talk about my experience publicly as a military wife. And I think it's something that you don't want to miss. So I hope that you'll tune into that episode. Until then, love and peace to all of you. Have the best week. Thank you for tuning in for a Monday Moment with Dr. Mal, now proudly a part of the Alive Podcast Network. You can find this show on the Live Podcast Network website and app, and you can find this podcast streaming across your favorite podcast streaming platforms. If you love to have the visual, you can tune into my YouTube channel, When Mallory Lives, to see this show and catch up on all my shows from the beginning.